Hello, I'm Dave. This is my wife, Emily. We live in San Antonio, Texas. I'm a high school teacher and coach.
I'm a physical therapist.
I can remember being in my third year of college, blind and living on student loans, and I met Emily, and she was on her own deal and doing her thing.
Yeah, single mom with 2 kids, paying the mortgage, car payments with student loans. Just about to graduate too when I met you.
Yes.
Just about to finish college, so.
I can remember going into the financial aid office, and the way it works is they offer you all of these amounts of money, and you just check mark which ones you want. Your tuition is deducted, and you get a check for the leftover amount. Growing up, at that time, the MTV, the English Bulldog shows were around, so I took the money and I went to Petland. I went to the store and just went and bought a $2,000 English Bulldog, 100% on borrowed money that I didn't realize I was borrowing. And yeah.
It's a fun time. We grew up thinking student loans are normal. Everybody has credit cards. They're for emergencies and that sale. And so, we had all that. And to hear and to realize that what we were doing was just pretty much ruining our future. Like, I didn't even save college for my sons. I had none of that done. Didn't even realize how important that was. And so we're paying for all those mistakes that were kind of engraved in our head. And I was just so sick of it. I just wanted that ability to enjoy my money.
I can remember distinctly when we were about to get married, I went to get a ring, and I got denied the loan amount or the credit card to buy the ring. And that was a pretty sad moment for me.
Yeah. As a woman, you worry more about financial stability with your home. It was very scary. I had a lot of anxiety in the beginning, a lot of anxiety. It's overwhelming, unbelievably overwhelming. So I started listening to Dave Ramsey on the radio a lot. Got pretty into it and tried to get him to start listening to it. Found out they were coming to San Antonio, and actually a friend of mine and her husband went to the one I think of the year before, and I was like, let's go, let's try it out, just listen to what he has to say.
Until we went to that event, that kind of got me on board.
Yeah, that was a turning point for us.
I go back to putting it all on her encouraging me. So when she took me to that event, I sat there and actually getting into it, I was taking notes. And so I can remember, I think it was the following weekend, she's like, all right, let's do this. Like, we got on the phone, and you know how long it takes to get people on the phone. And when you look up loan 1, loan 2, loan 3, loan 4, dog, you start adding all of that up, and it's just incredible. That moment, though, when we finally got our whiteboard and we laid everything out, was extremely eye-opening.
Depressing.
It was
very depressing. I went from feeling like I was, making all this money to I was dirt poor, and I was like, I just finished school, I'm not supposed to be poor anymore. I think the whiteboard did it. Seen it every day, multiple times as you walked by it, right in the dining room. Anybody that came over to our house would see it.
Because we were looking at it and we were like, all right, we're 2 years into this. Like, this thing needs to be done already.
Right after we started getting on budget, starting to do the Dave Ramsey plan, I was about 2-3 months pregnant with our first daughter, and New Year's Eve we get a phone call that our house was on fire. So right when we decided to start getting on track, we lost everything.
The house was a total loss, and there's no feeling like you just had a realization of how much debt you have and what situation you're actually in, and all of a sudden they get a phone call that your house is on fire. You pull up to that scene and it is literally burning. And that is a mouth dropper. That is one of those points where you're like, oh my goodness. So everything goes on pause. Later on, as we got going, it grew inside me the sickness of what it is I had to do. At that time, my daughter was 1, and I had nothing saved for her for college, and that terrified me. That's when we started really taking off.
Yeah.
At that point. We probably paid off more in that 12-month period than we did in the entire 4 years that we went through this journey.
It's crazy. It's just amazing how much money you have when you have no bills. When you change your mentality, you ended up spending money better. You make better choices. You take your time buying things because that's your cash. It's not going to be a payment that someone else is financing. So just like when we wanted solar panels, because it's so funny now, we want to cut everything out of our lives. Like, okay, how can we cut our electricity bill? So let's get solar panels.
We saved up cash and we paid for a solar panel, so our house is running almost with no electricity bill.
Yeah, and the guy was like, so how long do you want to finance these for? We have a great financing. We're like, no.
Tell me how much it's going to cost and I'll get back to you when I can pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's basically the way it works now. And for us, it's just changed our whole way of living. It literally warps your mind. Like it's almost like it goes in and it rewires you. I think it's life-changing. It literally can save marriages, and I think it might have for us. I mean, it was, and so at this point, I just try to spread the word to anyone that's willing to listen. At the end of the day, when this was all said and done, it took us roughly 4 years. We had all of our student loan debt and my credit debt and her credit debt, the house fire that added to some of that. I think it added up to about $230,000, give or take. All of the adversity that we hit and all of the things that we went through, it changed my life. It changed our lives. It changed the family. It can be done. It's possible. I'll tell you that much a million times. I lead FPU just to try to spread the word, like literally just to help someone. I mean, I led it in my living room. I didn't realize what I was doing while I was in college. I didn't know this going in to the real world. It's possible if you just give it a shot. If you just jump in, and there's gonna be a lot of craziness along the way, because life happens, right? I mean, life is gonna happen.
It did.
It's gonna happen to everyone, I promise you. I tell my students that all the time. Life's gonna happen.
All right, David and Emily, Omar, Sadie, and Aubrey, count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!